All right, let's get right into it. We're all trying to be more focused, right? More productive and just feel a little more in control of our own time. But how do you actually do that? Well, today we're going to unpack 4 really powerful psychological ideas that hold the keys to our focus. Some of them are tools you can use, and one of them is actually being used on you. I mean, this is the question, isn't it? It hangs over our to-do list, it haunts our workdays. You sit down, you have the best intentions, but then this sea of pings and pop-ups and your own mind just wandering off, it pulls you away. Look, this isn't some personal failing, it's a modern problem. So what are the secret weapons in this fight for our own attention? In this quote right here, this hints at one of the weirdest but most powerful tricks that we're going to look at. Sometimes the key to your internal focus is just having someone else externally. It's a fascinating idea, and we're going to break down exactly why on earth it works. But before we get to that, let's start with the absolute gold standard of concentration. It's a state you've definitely felt before, even if you couldn't put a name to it. It's called flow, and it's that magical feeling of being completely 100% in the zone. So what is flow, really? Psychologists call it the optimal experience, and it's not about forcing yourself to concentrate. It's about being so completely engaged in something that focus just happens. It's effortless. Your inner critic just goes quiet, hours can feel like minutes, and the work itself actually becomes its own reward. So what does it actually feel like to be in flow? Well, researchers have pinned down a few key things you'll notice. Like your sense of time getting all warped, or losing that feeling of self-consciousness. But the most important one for us, the one we can actually control, is that last one, a perfect balance between how challenging a task is and how good we are at it. Let's take a closer look at. And this chart just illustrates it perfectly. This is the sweet spot. See, if a task is way too hard for your skill level, you just feel anxious and overwhelmed. If it's way too easy, you get bored and tune out. But right there in the middle, when the challenge is high enough to really stretch your skills, but not so high that it breaks them, that is the channel where flow lives. And the crucial takeaway here is that we can actually engineer situations to find that channel. Which brings us to our next big idea. If finding that flow channel can be tricky, well, what if we could just build it ourselves? That's really the core idea behind gamification. It's about using the mechanics of games to create the exact conditions we need for flow. Now, gamification isn't really about turning your job into some kind of video game. It's about borrowing the things that make games so addictive. Clear goals, instant feedback, that sense of making progress, and applying them to our boring, everyday tasks to kind of trick ourselves into being more motivated and engaged. Okay, and this is where it all clicks together. Remember those conditions for flow we talked about, like having clear goals and getting immediate feedback? Well, look at this. Gamification mechanics are designed to give us exactly that. Points and badges, that's your instant feedback. Leaderboards, that gives you a sense of challenge. It's basically a system for hacking your own brain into that focused flow state. But what if you're working all alone and a leaderboard just isn't your thing? Well, there's another much more human way to engineer your focus. It's called the body double effect, and its popularity has absolutely exploded in our remote work world. The idea is so simple, it almost sounds like it shouldn't work. You just have someone else present while you do your work. That's it. They don't have to help you, they don't even have to talk to you. Just their quiet, passive presence creates this subtle sense of accountability that makes it way easier to stay on task and fight off those distractions. So why on earth does this work? Well, the research is still new, but communities that use this a lot, like FocusMate, think it comes down to these 5 triggers. Just the act of setting up a session forces you to pick a task and commit to a time. The social pressure is gentle, but it's super effective. It's a simple little behavioral trick that can have just massive effects on your productivity. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Just listen to this from Greg Riccardi. I mean, come on. Tasks that sat on his to-do list for half a year got done in a single week, all because someone was quietly there with him. It's an incredible productivity hack. So we've talked about flow, gamification, and body doubling, all awesome tools that you can use to take control of your own focus. But here's the twist. These same psychological principles can be and are used every single day to direct your attention, usually without you even realizing it. Let me paint you a picture you've definitely seen before. You go online to buy, a pair of boots. It's a simple task, straightforward. You know what you want, you click on the site, and that's when their game begins. All of a sudden, you're navigating this minefield of digital nudges. A pop-up creates a fake deal. A little only two left warning triggers your fear of missing out. The others also bought section guides your eyes to things you never even wanted to buy. And before you know it, your cart is full and you've been gently steered miles away from your original goal. And this quote from Tristan Harris, it really puts the scale of this into perspective. A tiny number of designers using these incredibly powerful psychological tools are shaping the choices of billions of people. They are gamifying your behavior, but for the platform's benefit, not yours. It's a powerful thing to be aware of. So let's put this all together and make it really clear. Flow, that's the ideal state, right? It's driven by your own motivation. Gamification and body doubling, those are tools you can use to engineer that focus. But digital nudging, that's different. The goal is to influence your behavior. And the one in control, it's the platform. Just understanding this distinction is the first crucial step to taking back your focus. Because at the end of the day, focus and productivity have become a game. And the digital world is just full of players trying to grab your attention for their own reasons. But now, you know the rules. You can see the mechanics they're using, and you have the strategies to take back control.
For more videos, subscribe to the InfoVoid.